The last few weeks have been a mixture of snow, ice, and lots of mud. A few days ago, all the mud and ice had cleared from the arena, and I was able to bring out the horses for the first time this year. Merlin isn't typically a horse who likes to spend unnecessary energy, but today he was happy to kick up his heels. This was my second day working with him in the arena this year, so we have a lot of review to do. In fact, my first time asking him to lunge, I got a Spanish walk. Like I said, we have a lot of review to do. I'm very much looking forward to spring and all the training that I hope to do this summer. And right there, you just heard a sure promise of spring, the call of the red-winged blackbird. When this bird returns, we know that spring is just around the corner, but not here yet. Vermonters know this is instead what we call a spring of deception. I love this diagram because I think it's pretty accurate, actually. Anyway, I took advantage of this fake spring to get a training session in with Merlin. The day before was my first session with Merlin, and I had been focusing on a lot of helping him to learn to self-regulate. I'm not going to get into all that, but in a nutshell, it's keeping things very calm and relaxed, and I was rewarded with this very special gift. During the session, it seemed like Merlin was so relaxed he could lay down. I wasn't planning on teaching a lay down, but thought maybe I could capture this. I ran to the barn, grabbed some alfalfa pellets, and ran back. I figured if I could get him down and give him a jackpot the moment he went down, it would be the first steps of teaching a laydown. I was a little disappointed when I came back and it seemed I had lost my moment. However, I continued working with him and he came back into that state of mind. I softly asked him to lower his head and began circling him. When it seemed he had an idea of laying down, I actually went down to my knees, and then I couldn't believe it when he followed suit. I instantly marked the behavior and rewarded him with a jackpot, to Merlin's surprise and delight. Actually, I was surprised and delighted, overjoyed, because this was the first time Merlin had lain down next to me, and he had done so with seemingly no effort. A laydown is a pretty common trick, but it was the how it came to be that really just blew my mind. I took a break before trying again, twice more, with the same results. So now I'm back for day 2 to see if Merlin actually will lay down for me or if it was just a fluke. I'm also hoping to film this time around because the day before, when I went back to grab the alfalfa, I also grabbed my phone so I could film, and it was of course at 1%, so I only got a few shots. You can see I kept my line pretty loose. Merlin had the idea, he just needed some time to go down. My first ask didn't quite turn into a laydown, so I tried again. Now, I want to point out what I've been doing really isn't a method, it's more working with the current rather than against it. Merlin had the idea, I noticed it and encouraged it, then captured it into something that I could put on cue. It's not a method that I could go out to the pasture and replicate with another horse because I was very much working off of Merlin. And while that may be a turnoff for some, this is very much the trainer that I want to become. I'm very interested in the process, being kind and empathetic towards the animal and working with the horse. If I continue on this journey of learning to understand and be a better listener of the horse, I have no doubt the results will follow. But I think the start of the journey looks a little bit slow, so check back in 5 years. A few days later, the fake spring was over and it was back to winter. This time of year is just so unpredictable. I have a birthday at the end of the month, and every year I never know what I can do for it because, well, Vermont. This snow probably lasted all of a day or two and then went back to mud. Then one morning, I got an exciting email. For the past 3 months, I've been getting email notifications every day monitoring ticket prices for various adoption events. That week, the ticket prices to Ohio had suddenly dropped, and a few days later, I was on my way for the Springfield, Ohio adoption event. Once I was in the air and had this beautiful view, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. Earlier in the day, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to go. This seemingly innocent face decided it was a good idea to get out, so the whole day I had been fixing fencing and barely finished in time to leave for my flight. But while I was there, I found and fell in love with his twin. This horse was so endearing. This was another crazy trip of mine. I think I was in Ohio for less than 18 hours, not getting in until 1 a.m. or after, and then leaving by 6 p.m. that same day. Alright, so I am absolutely frozen. I didn't pack much on my trip. I have just a backpack, but it's just all my layers right now. It's way colder. There's also a tornado right before I came here. I filmed and immediately uploaded a walkthrough of all the pens at the very start of the adoption event. I have a second, bigger video coming out soon, but I'm still working on that. It's taken me a while to recover from this trip. I was so tired on my trip home. We once again went from mud back into snow. All right, March 20th. Happy first day of spring. At least it's really pretty. So we're basically back in winter for a few days. It was 15 degrees Fahrenheit this morning when I woke up, and we have a snowstorm on the way this weekend. I guess spring will get here eventually.